Hey y'all, Scott here, and don't mind me, I'm just making some adjustments to the calendar, or legally speaking, tampering with evidence. Ever since I missed out on buying Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes on launch day, I've made it a goal to make sure every day is launch day. Because we can't just let the day one buyers have all the fun, look at them out there. So, from here on out, whenever you decide to buy the game, you'll get the satisfaction of knowing you bought it on day one. Which stinks for me because I'm never gonna buy it.
There's a certain level of pride that comes with being a gamer. I never said it was a high one. And many attribute their gaming accomplishments towards the real-life penis. You're not a true fan. You didn't beat Horizon Forbidden West on very hard and easy the week before the game released. So much of gaming discussion is based around, oh yeah, well this is why I'm a bigger fan. See, I'm better than you because I don't have anything else going on. So why not monetize and encourage that kind of behavior? I can get behind that. Let's go even further. If your aunt died last night, you get a green case.
Day one editions, you know what that means? I'm a sucker. These are some of the more peculiar facets of modern gaming, with their entire purpose being for bragging rights.
The first time I personally remember these coming to light was during the Xbox One's launch. How did Microsoft take attention away from the competition? By giving us shit box art. The Microsoft published titles, Dead Rising 3, Forza 5, and Rise Son of Rome, all received Day 1 2013 editions as a way to commemorate the console's launch. Foil silver backgrounds. Yeah, that's so much better than art. And to be fair, there was a part of me that wanted these editions of the games. I mean, there's a reason first print releases of products are often coveted as the most valuable. So to have the games denote that, not only with a banner, but special box art as well, it just makes these even more collectible feeling. Emphasis on feeling. Yeah, so your reward for waiting out in the November 2013 cold to buy your Xbox One is shittier box art and deprecating value. Well, these releases do come with bonus DLC items, and it does feel pretty cool to own these and say, I was there since the very start 2 weeks ago. But I think the bigger deal was the Day 1 edition Xbox One consoles. Right at launch, you could get this system with a special edition controller and an exclusive achievement on your Xbox Live profile. Wow, so this is what it must have been like to own an Xbox One at launch. I'm not gonna lie and act like this wasn't a smart move by Microsoft. I mean, if you're buying a console at launch, you already have control issues. Couple that with such minimal additions like 3 lines of text on a controller and a digital achievement that says, you f***ed up.
I sure did.
And you just ensured that at least one person who wasn't originally going to buy the system bought it because they didn't want to miss out on owning the limited Day 1 edition. Oh my god, it's so fucking cool. And by proxy, I'm so fucking cool. Microsoft would continue this Day 1 tradition, this time with simply games on their launch dates, incentivizing people to buy the games the first chance they get. These companies are already trying to find ways to avoid customers buying used games around this time. One scheme being to lock the online multiplayer behind a digital code. Buy the game brand new, enter the code in, and you're golden. Buy the game used, you run the risk of the code already being redeemed or just flat out not being in the box, and thus, if you want to play online, you have to pay an extra 5 or so bones for the privilege of using your product. Thankfully, this practice became less and less used as the years went on, so what replaced it? Just because it's not as bad doesn't mean it's not stupid.
It's like pitting Satan against some worms. Like, yeah, I don't like either, but when it comes down to it, one is truly fucking despicable, and the other is just the Prince of Darkness. Day 1 editions are just kind of weird to me. They're everywhere, and most big name titles these days has something akin to it, and it's just a trend I find interesting. So, let's dissect the method to the madness and see if any of these Day 1 editions are worth being early to the party for. I'm a true fan.
Before we dive into these, I have one major question. When does the term Day 1 edition or launch edition become obsolete? Spider-Man Miles Morales has been out for years at this point, and basically the only version I ever see for sale on PlayStation 5 is the launch edition. And the ultimate launch edition. Oh man, is my cock big or too big? Hell, a game like Shantae Half Genie Hero released on Nintendo Switch with a special Day 1 edition, a year after the Nintendo Switch version launched. Half a year after Day 1. So let's just say this title means the first print of the game, not necessarily specifically Day 1, though that would be something if this title actually meant something. I feel like it would instill a much greater connection between the customer and the game if this variant was truly only available on launch day. Instead, these copies flood stores for sometimes years. And now, obviously, printing a copy of the game that's only available on one day isn't practical, but hey, they call these launch editions for a reason. They want to dig their claws into your emotions. When you look at your copy of Ratchet & Clank and it says launch edition, they want you to say,
I was there.
That creates incentive for you to buy your next game at launch, and the next game, and the next game. This whole thing is just a mind game. Well, if we're being emotionally manipulated, might as well see what's in it for us.
I love you. You look less fat today.
Most launch editions come with a few bonus DLC items, nothing crazy. Costumes, cars, weapons, you name it. Anything that's cool but superfluous enough to be a giveaway incentive. Listen, they love us, but not enough to like us. It's always some of the most whatever DLC imaginable. Like Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart's launch edition just gives you a weapon and armor set early. Like you can still get them in the game through natural progression, but because you bought the game first, you don't have to work for them. I love this game so much, I'm willing to buy it at launch so then I can automatically get items so I don't have to play it as much. This is tough because I want to criticize this launch bonus for being stupid, but it's not locking content behind a paywall for anybody, which makes this very commendable. And stupid, it's fucking stupid. Hot Wheels Unleashed Day 1 Edition, because grandma had to wait. Oddworld Soulstorm Day 1 Edition on Xbox, and No More Heroes 3 Day 1 Edition on PlayStation. Once again, months after Day 1. Some of these do include more than just DLC though. Oddworld features a metal case on the Day 1 Edition for Xbox, which was the same metal case on the Day 1 Odd Edition for PlayStation. Well, I did have to make sure. Now Dark Souls 3's Day 1 Edition acts more as a special edition than a traditional launch edition, coming with the full game soundtrack on CD, which, yes, this is something fitting for fans willing to buy the game day one. Though they also denote having an outer sleeve as a day one edition feature, be grateful. A digital strategy starter guide is also included, and exclusive to the Xbox One release is a full download code for the original Dark Souls. You'd think that would make this the definitive version to get. 19 sold? Very cool release here. If all launch editions were like this, I'd see absolutely nothing to complain about, but thankfully, we live in reality. The launch edition of Sonic Colors Ultimate. Now, why is this box so thick? Why do include the Baby Sonic keychain from the Sonic the Hedgehog live-action movie in 2020, of course?
You sure there isn't a Dark Souls 3 soundtrack in here?
What does this have to do with Sonic Colors? This belongs with the Sonic movies Blu-ray, not some completely unrelated remaster of a Wii game from 2010. This was obviously thrown in to get rid of excess stock from promotions for the film while trying to make the game more enticing on release day. It was a win-win for Sega, and a loss in terms of space on my shelf. This is one of the most obnoxiously large game boxes I own considering what comes in it. Yes, a keychain? Error. Sega's been doing the whole bonus edition at launch stick for a while, and honestly speaking, I'm kind of over it. It's hard to complain because these games aren't any more expensive than if they didn't come with all this garbage, but I'm just tired of buying a Sega game at launch and then having to deal with where to put my new trinkets. Puyo Puyo Tetris similarly came with a keychain though. That at least was specifically for that game. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania and Sonic Mania Plus received art books, which are absolutely beautiful and great inclusions, but they're just clumsily packed next to the outer sleeves. Makes it annoying to put on a shelf because every time you take the game out, you have to deal with the art book rattling around in there. This is even more irritating with the Nintendo Switch versions of these games. Since those game cases are much smaller, like putting this on my shelf with the rest of my Switch games with the outer sleeve looks dumb. Taking the outer sleeve off and putting that somewhere else looks dumb. You know what? Life looks fucking dumb. The Japanese release of Sonic Mania Plus is so much better considering all of this and then some, including the game's soundtrack on CD, are bundled in a box, making it so much easier to store. You don't have to worry about the art book getting ripped up from just laying here. Other launch editions do this, where they just include the bonuses just stuffed into the sleeve like this. It's just irritating to me. Like, you couldn't have designed these materials to just be, like, that smaller. I just want this junk included in the game case itself, not like this. I have to deal with it every time I pull the game out this way. Which is why Sega should take notes from Sega. Valkyria Chronicles 4 Launch Edition comes with a controller skin. Easy edition, kinda cute bonus, doesn't add any girth to the package, perfect. And it's included right alongside your other launch bonus, the Japanese voices. Why is this a launch bonus? This is just something that should be in the game automatically. Imagine if they locked Spanish subtitles behind pre-orders. The Sonic Forces bonus edition should have given you the ability to use the left button on the menu. This one was very similar to Valkyria Chronicles, controller skin and DLC add-ons, so the latter was relegated to just custom character costumes, and honestly, that's just what most launch editions offer. It's an easy and painless way to incentivize you to buy at launch, so these can often be in addition to various other SKUs of the product on day one. Persona 5 Royal had the regular edition, then the launch edition, which included a steelbook and a theme for your PS4.
I don't need a launch edition for that.
Then the Phantom Thieves edition, including everything from the launch edition plus more, and then the Resident Evil 3 edition. And that's not even scratching the surface of the digital version. You have the digital edition, digital deluxe edition, digital ultimate edition. The fact that so many modern games need to have articles and charts whipped up to explain the differences between each version is ridiculous. Especially when the launch edition is still being sold while the regular edition is then introduced. What am I supposed to make of this? Publishers publishers have milked the edition game dry, and when day one editions were introduced, that was just the beginning. How can we go further?
What day is it?
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare had a special Day Zero edition, meaning if you bought this version, it would come out a day before the actual release date. Well, then that isn't the actual release date! It's like when the PlayStation Vita had a first edition bundle that released a week prior to the actual release date. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think that can be considered the actual release date anymore. Oh, and we can always circle back to Sonic Colors Ultimate. Early access by pre-ordering the Digital Deluxe Edition? Yeah, I got early access. 11 years ago!
Day one editions, launch editions. They're tactics by these companies to get you in at the very start. Pay full price, help them achieve record-breaking numbers in that quarter while having to deal with the growing pains of playing a game at launch with all the bugs and glitches that come with. Proceed to pay for all the DLC and expansions that come later down the line, all for the game to end up rotting in the bargain bin for $20 while a complete all-in-one edition releases with all the bugs and glitches fixed and all the paid DLC included for free. But damn it, it's worth it. I'm not saying these things are bad or anything. I just think it's interesting how common they've become and how little I think it all matters. The fact I can walk into Best Buy months and months and months after Horizon Forbidden West launched and still buy the launch edition, which the only difference between that and the standard edition is a little bit of text at the top and a free DLC costume, I feel like the purpose of a launch edition is kind of lost at that point. So, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna let some video game company push you around and tell you when to buy your games? Because where I'm from, every day is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes launch day. And I don't sleep because of it.